Hello boys and girls, it's Aunty Mimmi here. Today our fun book is called Oscar Octopus and the Fish Faces. Sounds great, doesn't it? If you've not already subscribed to the channel, please do so now. Then sit back, get comfortable and let's begin. Oscar Octopus was very popular with the fish. He could sometimes be a bit snooty, but most of the time no one really minded because he was so clever. There was very little he couldn't do, usually at the same time, and everyone was always impressed by the serious, important way he spoke. Every evening, Oscar could be found at home, reading, practicing a lecture and playing the violin, all at the same time. Oscar did his best to keep the younger fish in order. He corrected their speech, watched their manners, and tried to teach them how to do all the wonderful things he could do himself. Pearl the Curl thought that Oscar was wonderful. Oh, Oscar. But Gary Glory was not impressed. Gary liked playing tricks and making lots of noise. He did not like being told that reading was good for him and having to apologise when he had been rude. "I don't want to be like Oscar Octopus," grumbled Gary one day after he'd been told off. "I think it's funny to tease the other fish." "Gary Glory is getting naughtier by the minute," thought Oscar. "I must think of something to keep him busy." So that afternoon, whilst he practised his recorder scales, prepared a seaweed casserole for Howie the shark, corrected some sums and knitted a pair of riding gloves for Emmy the mermaid, he put on his thinking cap. What can we do with Gary Glory? Then Oscar did what he always did when he really needed to think. He put aside all his other activities, sat down at the piano and began to play some red hot boogie woogie. "What's that fantastic music?" cried Gary Glory, who was passing by. "I'd be the most popular fish in the sea if I could play something like that. Can you teach me, Oscar?" Oscar smiled to himself and kept on playing. "It'll take hard work," he said sternly. "You'll have to practice." "I'll do anything you say," promised Gary, dancing around Oscar's piano. "Right," said Oscar. "Be here at 11 sharp for your first lesson." At 11 o'clock the next morning, there was a clamour outside Oscar's rock. "I told everyone that you were going to teach me to play the piano," said Gary Glory, "and now they all want to play your music." "I want to play the electric guitar, but I'll never be any good," said Vinnie Tuna, in his usual gloomy way. Buster Blowfish fancied the trumpet. Pearl the Curl was born to be a lead singer, and Sizzle and Slink was certain that they could provide superb backing vocals. "I'll teach you everything I know," agreed Oscar, "but I expect everyone to work very hard." It wasn't easy teaching the unruly fish how to play their instruments. Gary had no ear for rhythm. Buster kept blowing himself up instead of blowing the trumpet. Vinnie Tuna kept missing rehearsals because he was certain that the noise would attract the shark gang, and sharks love tuna steak. But Pearl was a model pupil, and Sizzle and Slink were so keen to perform that they did everything they were told. One day, Emmy the mermaid came to sit in on a lesson. What a great band you are, she cried, clapping her hands. You must come to the enchanted city and play at the king's birthday party. We'll put on a surprise show. The king will love it. Said Oscar. I'm not sure we're ready for that. I'm ready, said Pearl, the curl with a flick of her crimped fins. We're ready too, shooby-booby-doo, sang the eels. Rock on, cried Gary Glory, hammering at the piano. Pearl the Crooners. We need a name, said Pearl the Curl. All the really good bands have wonderful names. Oh dear, sighed Vinnie Tuna, looking worried. This will end in disaster. Oh, you're such an old fish face, said Gary rudely, sticking his tongue out at him. That's it, cried Emmy. We'll call you Oscar and the Fish Faces. Oscar looked pleased, and everyone agreed that it was a wonderful name for a wonderful band. The day of the party arrived and everyone was feeling really, really, really nervous. Now remember everyone, best behaviour. Gary, no pranks. Sizzle, no electric shocks. It's not often that a set of rabble-rousers like you get invited to the King's Palace. Now, is everybody here? Oscar paused and looked around. Oh dear. Where was Pearl? They searched high and low, but Pearl was nowhere to be seen. We'll have to cancel, sighed Vivi Tuna, as if he had known all along that this would happen. Nonsense, said Oscar. We must simply play without her. Sizzle and Slink, you will have to be the lead singers for tonight. Clutching their instruments and feeling very nervous, Oscar and the Fish Faces entered the enchanted city. Right at the last moment, Pearl and Emmy zoomed up on Emmy's seahorses. Look what we've got, cried Emmy. Costumes for everybody. Never had a lead singer looked more stylish than Pearl the Curl. Never had Gary Glory looked so cool or Buster Blowfish looked so handsome. Showtime, yelled Gary. The king was soon beaming from ear to ear. What a wonderful birthday surprise, he exclaimed. Soon everyone in the enchanted city was swinging their fins. Rock and roll, cried Gary, who was having the time of his life. And Oscar conducted the band, played the drums, kept all the excited little shrimps off the stage, sipped a glass of seaweed surprise and grinned. And the band boogied on until dawn. Well, that was a wonderful book today, wasn't it, boys and girls? I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. As always, I want you to be kind to one another, look after one another, try and have some fun every single day. Until next time, bye-bye.